Happy Friday, everyone. Got a Leslie Castro, our newest meteorologist. She is holding down the fort with me in the weather lab. We had a busy day, didn't we,
Yes, it's
Leslie?
been quite busy
Yeah.
between a tornado in Brazil that we were locating on Google Maps to, preparing the weather for today. It's been a lot going on, especially for what's coming. Yeah.
I don't know exactly how to pronounce the place that was hit, but it was
It was like Rio Bonito, and
yeah.
then I couldn't figure out the second half because it is in Portuguese. So
Yeah, exactly. So I do believe there is sound. We did unmute the mic. You might have said there was no sound at the beginning. We could have played music or something like that, but we just we left it. You should be hearing sound though. If you're not, you want to turn up your microphone. But yeah, so that Brazil tornado, we even looked
yeah.
at the satellite, and it was definitely a supercell that came through there. No doubt about that. Looked like EF3 damage to
Yeah,
me.
that was
We'll
really
see what
strong damage
happens.
from the
Yeah.
houses being destroyed to cars being thrown from one side to another. It looked very, very damaging for sure, to say the least. So we'll see where the update is on that in a few
Yeah.
hours. It's international news, so trying to go based off
I don't know how they're
X.
going to do,
Yeah.
because I know the Weather Service does surveys in the United States, but I don't know how that's done in South America. So
Yeah, yeah.
hey, it's something new to me. But
Hmm.
tornadoes, they don't discriminate. They
No.
happen in all continents and everywhere you can possibly imagine. Not around here, at least for now. We don't have to worry about that. I do think some storm potential is on the increase as we get into the end of our month. So I think that
Yes.
right after the midpoint of November, we're talking the third week in November, we're going to be watching closely. So people commenting on the beard. Look at this. You should keep the beard year round. What do you think? Got the beard rolling, and it's really handy for the beard because it's about to get cold, as you saw. So you saw our headline on there, cold front coming tomorrow. In fact, not
Yeah.
just one, we've got two fronts coming in this weekend. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to be going through all of that information. So, but we don't have really any necessarily severe weather to talk about. Daniel said, "Hi from the Grove. Grove needs a weather bug camera." Now, if you're talking about Grove, Oklahoma, or are you talking about Prairie Grove? Because if you're saying from Grove, I think you're saying Grove, Oklahoma. And yes, we do need a weather bug camera up there for sure. All right, Aleshley, let's talk about what we've got coming in our way.
All right, sweet.
And first of all, I want to mention too, before we get to this, fall foliage. Get out and enjoy it now, because I'm telling you, the fall foliage will be not as great next weekend. This is the
No,
weekend to
no,
do it.
no. After this, it looks like we're going to get way past peak very quickly here.
Yeah, and it's a short period, but the
Hmm.
trees are beautiful now. We could show you some photos coming up in just a bit, but let me show you why the colors aren't going to be looking good. All it takes is a little cold snap, and we're about to see that. And it's cold enough where those leaves will be like, ooh, turning brown
Yeah.
fast, and then they'll die off the trees. So here's what we got. A freeze watch is in effect. And freeze watch means some pretty cold temperatures, allegedly, as we drop down into the lower 20s. Now, what do people need to know when it comes to this freeze watch in terms of how to prepare for it?
Well, there's a number of things that we can look forward to. First off, we were saying, pets, one big thing, bring them
Mm-hmm.
indoors, check on your people as well, especially the elderly, because this cold snap, we're expecting temperatures to go down as low as 20 degrees in some areas, at least 4 hours Sunday into Monday there. Tonight, not so much. We're going down into the not tonight, but tomorrow night we're going down into the mid 30s. So right on the edge of the
Yeah.
freezing point there. But after that, another cold front coming through, and that's just continuing to bring those temperatures down. Another thing is, if you have any faucets, make sure they're dripping just a little bit. You don't want those pipes to freeze and cause them to burst just because all that contracts in there with
Yeah.
freezing ice. So yeah, a couple of things to look forward with that.
So another thing that's important too is, the garden hoses. I
Yeah.
always forget this every year, and then every year when I'm in the spring, when I turn on my garden hose, first of all, it's full of water and it's frozen,
Yeah.
and number two, the plastic fittings, they expand and break, and then
Yeah.
you got a leak, and then you're done. So Like the Arkansas football season, the
Oh.
fall foliage will be taking another L by next week.
That's very unfortunate.
Yes, yes, yes. And you're an Ohio State grad. So who
Yeah.
does Ohio State play next? Do you know?
I
You might have
haven't
been
even been
so
check.
you've been so busy here,
Exactly. I know
training and
they
everything else. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't kept up with the schedule as of recently. I know they played Penn State this past Saturday and they knocked it out of the park there. And we know Penn State hasn't had a good run recently either. So,
Yeah.
but I'm used to these wins. So coming into Arkansas and seeing that, hey, you guys don't have a good track record. I'm so sorry, guys. I really
Yeah,
am.
and look at this. Ohio State dominated Texas. They
Yep,
sure
there
did.
you
That
go.
was
Not once,
amazing.
but twice as well.
And
So
we looked
love
like
that.
trash against Texas. OU did. But, you
Yeah.
know, Arkansas has Texas coming up here pretty soon. So, all right, back to the graphics here. We'll take a look at some more stuff. As you'll see, those temperatures are going to be dropping. So let's take a look at these frontal positions and when they're going to be moving in. So first of all, tomorrow is looking absolutely amazing. No problems there. You got morning lows that are going to hover right around the upper 40s. Now, we stopped it right here Saturday afternoon. This is the time to be outdoors, but notice those winds. Those winds are
Yeah,
going to
they're
be
picking
whipping
up.
up out of the west. And then as we go throughout the Saturday evening time frame, look at those winds switch to the northwest. And then they really start to pick up. Ohio State plays Purdue tomorrow. Ooh, Purdue is more of a basketball team than a football team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Buckeyes of Northwest Arkansas. Look at that.
Ooh,
Diane
I need to
saying
look into that
there.
then.
Yeah, you would love that.
Yes,
So
definitely.
there's of course all these clubs that are have a lot of other teams besides the Razorbacks. But of course, Razorbacks, they are obviously the predominant fan base here.
Mhm.
All right, so there's that front coming in Saturday night, Sunday morning. Whoo! That front is going to be the punch in the gut. I mean, that is just going to be like, I don't even know how to say it. It's like a hockey player pulling the shirt over the head and then just punching them in the stomach.
Yeah.
Have you seen Happy Gilmore 2?
I actually
by
have.
chance? Yeah.
I saw both of them recently,
Yeah.
especially after Happy Gilmore 2 came out. So
Happy
That
Gilmore
was a good
2
watch.
is funny. I mean, like you said,
that
Bad
was a good
Bunny,
watch.
he was hilarious
He
in
was,
that.
he
Yeah, he
was.
did a great job. And he's coming up on the Super Bowl, and I know you will be watching.
Yes. I
And
love
you
Bad
brought
Bunny.
up some interesting facts about Bad Bunny that people don't really even realize.
Yeah.
Born in Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Did I say that okay?
You tried. You
I
tried.
tried.
At least the effort was there.
Say it
It's the
again.
thought that counts. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico?
Puerto
Puerto Rico. Okay.
Rico. Yeah.
Rico.
There you go.
Rico Suave. All right. So, anyways, we'll go back to here. Have you ever heard that song?
Oh, which one?
Rico Suave.
I've heard of it. Yes.
Ale, alegara.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Rico. It's so bad. But anyways, that was back in my time in high school. That's what was popular.
How long ago was that now?
30 years
Oh,
plus.
wow.
It's been a little while. But
Yeah.
anyways, there's that cold front. There's it coming through. And then watch what happens Sunday. So Sunday, early afternoon. I mean, you want those numbers to bump up even
Yeah.
more, but they don't. Sunday evening, we just keep falling. And then that's where that hard freeze takes over. So watch this here. Saturday, 9 p.m. That's when the hard freeze starts, or the freeze watch,
Mhm,
but
9
it'll turn
p.m.
into a freeze morning.
Yeah.
We're down already below freezing at 9. So we've got 12 hours where that temperature will most likely be well below freezing. And I think 24 is going to be our low temperature. And that's what the graph is going with. That's not even the ICAST graph. That's the graph model. So, there's someone said it's easier to say Puerto Rico. I don't know, without the R. Is that right?
Puerto.
What?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Like Puerto.
Puerto.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, Puerto Rico.
There you go.
Puerto Rico. Okay, good.
Thank you for that, Jesse, by the way.
Okay, yes, that's great. I'll say it right from now on. Puerto Rico.
Yeah, there you
okay.
go.
All right. Well, anyways, going back to this, we're going all over on tangents. But how do you say snow in Spanish? I don't know. I'm not sure either. I stumped Josh too. I was asking him what wind is, but she's looking it up. I'm going to be
think it's like-
showing you this here. As we go into Sunday night or Sunday afternoon,
Yeah, then.
notice what we've got. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So there you
near
go.
mid.
I'm not saying there's going to be a lot of snow. This is kind of funny, by the way.
Little flurries.
Flurries. That's right.
Yep.
I was dropping off my dry cleaning,
Yeah.
and someone goes, Dan, I am so mad at you. You said the S word last night. I was like, no, I didn't say the S word. I said the F word.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh,
And she
no.
was like, she started laughing. It's like, yeah, S word, F word's a lot worse than the S word, but in terms of flurries, that's the
Yeah.
F word that we're using. Flurries are different than snow. Flurries is when you see snowflakes coming down. Look at the model here. Watch this. This is the high resolution rapid refresh, and you'll see that it took it out.
Yeah,
Of
it did.
course, it did. The 18Z took it out, but I still think there could be. See all those clouds and temperatures in the mid 30s? I think we do have that potential for a little bit of maybe some flurry activity, the F word, as we go throughout
Yeah.
our Sunday. Now, someone asked a question: how quickly do we recover? Great question, Collins, because we are. The rubber band is going to stretch out and it snaps back. The temperatures are going to be whiplashing back into the 70s. In fact, we're looking at maybe mid to upper 70s. I got to show you this here. If we look at the long range forecast. Now, keep in mind, we only go out 7 days. 7 days, I think, is about as long as you can get for it to be fairly accurate. So here is the extended outlook for how quickly we recover. And you'll see these temperatures are going to climb pretty rapidly. I mean, we got really 2.5 cold days. So
Yeah.
Saturday night and Sunday morning, Sunday will be cold. You can see it's way below the average. However, we warm back up into the upper 60s to lower 70s. So that's definitely going to be some warmer weather. And that warmer weather, I personally think, and I know, Leslie, you were looking at it, the models are kind of
Mhm.
what I said, playing pancakes on Sunday
Yeah.
morning. They're flip flopping, storms, no storms, storms, no storms. I don't necessarily buy no storms at this point. I think we do have storm potential. Let me show you the reason why, even though it's kind of tough to determine exactly what the exact timing is going to be, but this is going to be our weather pattern. And someone mentioned this weak La Nina in play now. So there's sometimes a correlation between La Nina and what the weather brings, but also sometimes put a little too much stock into that. What's
Yeah.
your thoughts about the teleconnections are huge. There's no doubt about that. But you can't attribute like every season, like a weak La Nina, the signals are there for an amplified pattern. But
Mhm.
what do you think about that? What's some of the studies that you've done? Or have you done a lot of studies on the ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation?
Typically I haven't done, I would say, too many
Yeah.
deep studies on it, but I think it's good when it gives you like a general synopsis of like what the winter may look like, but honestly, it really just depends.
Not only do we have someone that's Latina speaking Spanish, we also have someone that knows teleconnections. The North Atlantic Oscillation is stronger than ENSO regarding effects over our region.
There you go.
Very true. And the North Atlantic Oscillation, we're going to be highly amplified. We have a lot of high angular momentum in the Pacific Ocean, as I mentioned.
Yes.
That means with the jet stream zonal and flowing from west to east. So let's take you through this real quick. And we'll start off showing you that here's a system coming through, super highly amplified. Look at that ridge and the trough. So the NAO, when you have a positive NAO, you have high pressure over the region, and when you have a negative NAO, you got a lot of low pressure. And so that right there is an NAO that's negative. And you can see the way that upper level energy and pattern. Look at the big, huge trough. That's going to bring lake effect snows
Yes.
in Ohio.
Yes.
Are they calling for that
They are
along
calling for
Lake
some
Erie?
snow, especially along Sunday
Yeah.
into Monday. Yeah, I
Lake
was looking at that.
Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be happening. Now watch this. As fast as that happens, that moves out. We got another little blast coming through. That'll be the last of the cold Tuesday evening. And then Wednesday, look at this. This ridge starts building in. Now this starts warming things up.
Oh yeah.
It warms up things pretty dramatically. And then look, you've got all this energy off to the west. Now the models are having trouble discerning if this giant low pressure system will remain out west and then lift north, or if the piece of energy northward kind of stops our instability moisture from coming back, this kind of cuts it off.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on that solution, but it does show by towards that third week in November. I think it's going to get pretty active. We got storm potential there as the ridge breaks down, and then that's as far out as that model goes on this system. So the persimmon seeds, they are spoons. So we basically have the potential for, I think, an average snowfall year. I do. I don't think it's going to be bonkers. I don't think it's going to be nuts. I think that we get an average snowfall year. I do believe that there could be an icing event. It's really honestly long range forecasting. What's your thoughts about long range forecasting?
That's a really good one. I
That's
feel like
putting you on the hot seat there.
I
or the
feel
cold
like
seat.
if look, some days I look at if we cannot even get it right 8 to 14 days out,
Yeah.
then I can't necessarily say looking 3 to 4 months out
Yes.
is going to be just as accurate. I've seen very short range forecasts that say something one day and then the very next day they say something entirely different, and I'm like, guys, like,
Are we talking about CPC?
yes,
Yeah.
we are talking about
Absolutely.
CPC,
The Climate Prediction Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Climate Prediction Center, I actually do quite agree with this. If we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook,
if it matches with the ridge that is building in, then
it
yes.
makes sense. This is going to be likely warmer than normal. And you can see that right there. Definitely likely warmer than normal. And when we look at the precipitation, 8 to 14 day outlook, remember, this is right in the peak of that amplified weather pattern where we are going to see rain and thunderstorms. And I do believe severe weather. Let's look at and see if this cape starts lifting northward. It'll take probably a little while to load, but as we look at it, and you can see it right there already starting to return, even though the models aren't showing any storms, whatever. It had it before, now it doesn't, and it's all because of that northern branch that kind of cuts off the moisture and the instability. So I'm not sold on it. I hear after the first frost. So as far as that frost is coming, it is. After that, the trees are going to turn brown. The leaves are going to fall off the trees. Next weekend, there'll still be some color left, but it won't be as vibrant. And on top of that, we've got some pretty stout winds too that are going to be taking over. And a cold wind, a frosty leaf, and you've got blustery conditions. Guess what? You've got leaves that are coming off. I think, unfortunately. Here, we'll take a look at this. This is the graph. And this is the graph 4 kilometer. Fronts might not be updated, but look at the winds pick up after this front comes through. So some pretty chilly weather coming our way. Then you can see those winds are really picking up Saturday, and they're out of northwest. So it's a pretty stout temperature drop that's going to occur. I think 10, 15 degrees in a matter of an hour.
Yeah, it's going to go down very quickly here Saturday evening.
And then you can see Sunday morning. Look at that. That's still some strong winds. There's the front. And then, when we got gusts to 25, 30 with as fragile as the leaves are now, that's going to be detrimental to that. Here's Alex Hall saying, put you back in the frame here. Camera decided to focus on me. I'm a hand talker, so it's not good. By the way, you can see Jake over Aleshley's head. That's our pet of the week to adopt. You can find Jake a forever home. But we're way overdue for a large icing event. And we're also overdue for a white Christmas.
Yeah, we were just talking about it the other day because still getting to know the area. I was asking Dan, I was like, hey, so how often do you guys get white Christmases out here? And he was like, no, not so many. You said one every 9?
1 out of 9.
One
out of 9 years
on
the average, looking at it for Fayetteville and for Arkansas. It's about less than 10% chance. So 1 out of 9, never. Yeah, that's what. Now, it wasn't never, because back in 2012, we had a white crisp. If I'm getting the date, 2012.
Yes.
Yep.
So you're long overdue if it's one every 9 years.
And 2009 too was another white Christmas.
Okay.
So 2012 was okay, but I think it was 2009 was the big one. So 2009 was the big white Christmas that happened. Our white Christmas are 1/2 inch of snow. It's got to be a full inch, otherwise it's not a white Christmas.
I also have to ask, approximately how much snow accumulation do you guys get before schools are like, we're gonna close for the day?
A 1/2 inch. Literally, it is not much, but here's something that's different than
Okay,
Ohio.
yeah,
We get ice.
so I've heard.
And I'm telling you,
I've
you are going to,
heard.
yep, 2009 was the big white Christmas. 2012 was not here. In fact, it missed. Can you believe it? It missed Fayetteville because the heavy snow band set up
Uh-huh.
just south of Fayetteville. Just south. It was
Oh.
just south of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. But 2012 was the one that absolutely obliterated Central Arkansas.
Okay.
That was a bad Christmas for them. Power outages too, so it wasn't a really good snow.
Especially, I mean,
It was
like we spoke about infrastructure, that really depends on where you go. Like I know in Texas, they get their snowstorms and whatnot. It's can be very devastating just because the infrastructure is not built for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, you know what? We had some comments on here. We'll go a few more minutes, but let's get to know you a
Okay.
little bit
Yeah,
more.
sweet.
We've got several people on here, and so let's talk about it here. Yeah, 2009 was a massive ice storm. One snowflake and schools cancel. It's honestly, it's the honest to God truth. So let's go to right here. Rob Harris is asking, what part of Ohio are you from?
So I am from Columbus, Ohio, straight from the heart and capital of Ohio, and I have grew up there since I was 3. I was born in New York City prior, but moved to Columbus when I was 3, and I had the opportunity of even going to Ohio State there, living from home. So that was awesome. And this is my first time moving out of Columbus, Ohio. So a big adjustment for me, but nonetheless, I am loving it here to say the least.
Well, we are glad to have you. That's for sure. I'm going to pop this up on here, and we want you to ask Leslie a comment. So let's go back here. So type in a comment and let us know what you want Leslie to basically tell about her. So we know she loves parrots. She's got a parrot. So go ahead and let me know what you want to learn about her. So someone else had a question too. I'm trying to find it here. Let's see here. My niece just moved to Columbus a few months ago. I have family in Ohio.
Yeah, you mentioned it,
Cuyahoga Falls. Yeah. And so they live there. Got to see them back on it was Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
It wasn't for a great time, but it was a celebration of life for my dad. And I also got to see my uncles too in early March. So yeah, they're great people. What made you interested in meteorology?
That's a
Great
good question. So I went down the pipeline of watching Weather Channel growing up, Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Mike Bettis on my TV screen. And yeah, I guess watching a lot of TV, Weather Channel, watching those shows just really got me into it. Knowing Columbus, Ohio, we don't get extreme weather like that. So I've never had an event in my life where I was like, oh, I saw a tornado and this made me want to go into meteorology. None of that stuff. You know, the camera did the thing again, but it's fine.
That's okay. It's all about you. We're learning about Leslie.
Now,
yeah.
But yeah, for some reason, that was just something I was really into even as a little kid. I also used to I remember we had a Wii, and on the Wii, there was like a weather thing that you were able to go on and look at the weather from different cities or whatever. So
I remember that. Yeah,
I used
that was
to
cool.
play that, and I used to be like, hey, here's the weather over here, and here's the weather over here. So I used to play with that when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And then I just forgot about meteorology entirely. For some reason, I wanted to go into astronomy when I was in middle school, but I thought physics is a lot of work, and I knew there was a lot of physics behind that, and I wasn't too crazy about planets, but that made me realize I was still interested that there's something going on in the atmosphere. What about it? And so that kind of led me into going down meteorology, and with the watching TV growing up, watching the broadcast meteorologist, and also doing my own little thing, that really got me into the broadcast side of it.
That's awesome. Well, we are so glad to have you. And here's a question.
Yes.
I wonder why people think this is weird when people ask if a parrot can talk. Because we had my co-anchor that said the same thing.
Yes.
And I've asked the question too. It's like, It's a question you want to know.
And yes, his name is Icy, and yes, he can talk. So like he knows how to say my name. Whenever I ask him like, "Hey, give me a kiss," he'll like repeat that, "Give me a kiss," and like throw kisses back. Or sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, come here," and he'll be like, "Come here, come here, come here." And like his name is Icy, so I taught him to be like, "Go Icy, go Icy," and he'll dance along to that. So
With music
yes,
too?
yes, it'll
Oh,
be like,
that's
"Go Icy,
amazing.
go Icy."
Does he like bob his head up and
Yes,
down and stuff?
yes. But now he's more reserved about it, and I don't know why. I guess
Wow.
there needs to be more than one person hyping him up for him to be able to do that. But yeah, he knows my name. He knows my brother's names. When I call my mom, he'll be like, "Mom,
Yeah,
mom," repeat that too. So
that is so
he's a cute
cool.
little bird.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Do you put Rio on for him when you leave? No,
No, not
that would
real.
be hilarious.
Real, yeah.
I don't know. I love that movie, but that's maybe,
It
hey,
is a good movie
maybe
though.
he's like,
It
this isn't
is.
real life. Kind of like me watching Twister, just like this isn't what really
Oh,
happens.
I've never thought of it like that.
Maybe he's thinking, yeah, this is fake. Are you going to school here? You've already graduated.
I have
Yeah.
already graduated. So I graduated from the Ohio State University back in May. And so I also was a weekend meteorologist out there for a little bit of time, but I decided, it was time to move on to something bigger and better. And so went around,
WHIZ.
looking
Well, you
around.
got
Yeah,
a challenging area to forecast here. There is no doubt about that. But we
but
have some amazing viewers. We got some awesome people that are weather aficionados, and
yeah,
they love the weather. They're highly educated,
love
and
that.
so that's pretty cool. It is true that they close because we do have hills and steep roads, and when you have
That
ice
makes a
on
lot of
that, and
sense.
it makes a mess, and
That
we
makes
don't have
sense.
the equipment to clear the roads either. Joel Haskins, are you fascinated with severe weather tornadoes as far as chasing or storm spotting?
And yes, and I actually got to speak about this a little bit yesterday, but I've gone on a storm chasing trip back in May for a class I was able to take post graduation. So we went out to the field about 10 days, from May 9th to like May 18th. So like 9, 10 days there. And yeah,
You had that was a prime time
I
because
was, yeah.
some people have these storm chasing, vacations, your research experiment times, and nothing happens.
Yeah,
You have a
we
ridge of
got
high pressure.
lucky.
You have what's
We
called the
got
death
lucky.
ridge. Well, that was not
Yeah.
nothing. Because we remember May 18th, we had the giant hailstorm that came through Town, Springdale, right here.
Hmm.
Then we had May 19th, where we're literally covering a tornado that's touching down just south of Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Imagine looking at this Graduate Hotel WeatherBug Network camera right here. So if we go to the Fayetteville Graduate Hotel, all right, and I turn it and I point this camera to the south, and literally I'm looking at a tornado that's crossing the road. It was pretty nuts. It was crossing the highway and crossing the roads out there. So if I go to this Graduate Hotel camera, point it south, as you'll see here in just a second, imagine right there off in the distance, you're seeing a tornado crossing. I'll have to show you the clip. It was pretty intense, but
Yeah.
so you are fascinated. You do love storm chasing. You've done it before. We'll have to get you out in the field because
Yeah.
you are experienced on that. You know about all that stuff. So Daniel says he was the aftermath of May 3rd, 99. I actually chased that event.
You did.
I
You
chased May 3rd,
did.
99. You want to know how many tornadoes I saw in one day?
How many?
20. 20 tornadoes in one day. You saw 10 in your entire vacation, which is still a lot.
Yeah.
But that was an insane day. Absolutely insane. Did Mike Bettis go to Ohio State?
He did.
Oh,
And I have
have
a
you met
funny
him?
story about, yes, I
Okay.
did.
All
And
right.
so a couple things to that. I worked for the athletics department at Ohio State over there. And my boss there, my manager, he actually went to school with Mike Bettis. So he showed me a whole bunch of photos of them going to block, doing the whole college activities that you would do during that kind of thing. And they still go on trips together and everything. And he would show me pictures from that. But Mike Bettis spoke at Ohio State at our symposium back in February.
Okay.
And so I was able to get a little high end. He was like, "What's your name again?" Oh yeah, my friend, Dave told me about you, and
That's
good luck to
cool.
you.
That's
So
cool.
yeah,
That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
I know this, that I used to work with a meteorologist who's a real estate agent. His name is Dan Ashley. And Dan
Mm,
and Mike Bettis were good friends.
okay.
And I know that that tornado, that El Reno tornado back in 2013, with the experience about, I don't
Yes.
think he does much storm chasing now, does he? Or is he still back out there? No.
No,
After
no.
that,
After that, that was kind of it for
that
him.
was kind of like one thing that
And
just
he spoke
really,
about it at
yeah,
our symposium. It was very fascinating to
yeah.
hear his side of the story when it comes to that thing. So, like, yes,
Does he
Chase.
regret like going? No,
No,
no.
no. It's just I don't think he realized the extent of like how it would
Why the
impact him.
tornado? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
how much it would, and also his
yeah.
wife and stuff.
That
I get it
too.
because I used to drive motorcycles, and I was in a motorcycle accident, and that was the end of my motorcycle career, if you will, or my riding days.
Yes.
It does. It'll mess with you. Memorial Day weekend last year was crazy too. Absolutely. In fact, we were looking at that storm. We were
Yes, we
looking
were.
at the supercell. One supercell to remember. You will be very intrigued by Northwest Arkansas weather. It is very unique.
I'm excited to see it all play out and also learn more about it at the same time. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And you saw the tornado from the Embassy Suites in Rogers. You saw that
Yep,
video
you
that we
showed
had.
me.
Yep. Um,
I'm telling you, he's been showing me a lot of his archives in regards to
yeah,
this
yeah.
tornado
I told you
experience.
I'm a big time severe weather junkie,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
one thing that I think will instill in all you guys is that you know, Davion and Leslie, to really hone in on the severe weather and forecasting skills. So cool. So Dan is the archive king. That's what he said.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend was nuts, that's for sure. Let's see, your parrot needs to say OHIO.
I never thought about teaching him say that. I will say he doesn't pick up words like that anymore,
Yeah.
so he has like his set vocabulary, but I do have an African gray parrot back home. And I could tell my family, like, hey, teach her how to say this, and she'll probably pick it up.
Well, here's the deal. I know you're hungry, and
Yes.
so we're gonna stop this Facebook Live. I do want to mention one thing about parrots, and I told you this before, but it is
Okay.
so cool. This is such a neat story. There's a show called Mysteries of the Museum, and there's a museum of a kind of like a stuffed parrot, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, why would a parrot be in a museum?
Yeah.
So it turns out that there was a parrot in a bar, that the owner of the bar owned a parrot,
Hmm.
and turned out one day that the bar owner was shot,
Yeah.
okay, and murdered, and murdered in cold blood. Well, there wasn't a single eyewitness, but there was this parrot. And so
Parrots
when
are
the
smart.
detectives were walking into the bar, they would hear Robert, Robert, Robert. And so they're thinking, "Now, wait a minute, is the bird saying Robert? Robert?" And so he's looking at the articles and you know, kind of doing the research, and then he finds out that he went in again and the bird is saying names, and he
Yeah.
recognized that the bird is saying names of people that are regulars there. And so it turns out that
Regulars.
the bird was not saying Robert, he was saying Robert. And it turns out that the guy that shot the bar owner was Robert,
Mhm.
and it's the first time ever that a bird convicted a felony on trial from his testimony. Is that
Yeah.
cool or what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a terrible story about the bar owner getting shot, but the fact that the parrots are smart.
Yeah, and so like I told you, I
Yeah.
think parrots during traumatic events, it's easier for them to pick up that sort of thing because it's so ingrained into their
Yeah, it's
mind.
ingrained in their
Yeah.
heads. Yeah, for sure. All right. I pray we don't have a crazy spring, but I have a newborn, and I don't think my anxiety can handle that. So we'll go 2 more minutes. If you have a question, go ahead and type it in a comment. We'll go ahead and answer them as much as we can. But again, just to reiterate, we got some cold weather coming in. If it's Friday and you're like, I'm not going to be able to watch the news, should we give them the Friday treat and just show the 7-day forecast?
Yeah,
What
go
do you
for
think?
it. Yeah.
Let's
Show
do
them
it.
the whole
Let's
thing.
do it.
So
Let's do it.
in a
You can
nut
still watch. We still got some other stuff coming up, but let's show you this. And next week, by the way, to prepare for severe weather potential, which I think is going to happen that third week in November, we're going to be doing some Weather Call Next Gen giveaways.
Yep.
So be prepared for that. We'll have that coming up in just a bit. But there's a look at the 5-day forecast, you've got those winds that are going to be cranking up, and you can see how strong they're going to be, and the temperature is dropping. Saturday evening, that front comes in. Sunday morning, maybe 34, but most likely maybe upper 30s just because the breeze will kick in. But we don't warm up much. So upper 30s, and then we hover in the lower 40s. That cold air advection will be stout. And Veterans Day starts warming back up. In fact, southerly winds kick back in, and look at that warming as we get back into
Oh,
the
yeah.
70s. Now, that really is a roller coaster ride
It
right
is
there.
massive.
That is a big time temperature drop. And then finally, last thing is you can see those temperatures are going to be not as cold for the River Valley, but still the first freeze is coming for the River Valley at 27. Dayton, Ohio's 2019 EF4 looks like it was a beast too. Do you remember that one?
No.
I know I don't
Yeah,
either.
no. The last I can recall was one in like Tip City, which is just north of Dayton. And Dayton, they get a few tornadoes, I will say. It's interesting because the setup in Ohio, we always say that like after a storm passes Dayton, everything falls apart.
Yeah.
There has been times where we're put under a tornado watch in Columbus, Ohio, and nothing happens. And then people are like, why didn't anything happen? And we're like, that's actually the best case scenario that nothing happened. But
It's kind of like us too
yeah.
around here, honestly. Someone asked about, we do actually have a temperature, a graphic. I'm going to make it. It's not done and it's not official, but I think this will be kind of fun to show. So someone had a question, Alex Hall, one of our storm spotters, by the way, great storm spotter. Let's see how this graphic looks. That's all right.
It's so glitchy.
Yeah, it's real glitchy. We're gonna make that look a lot better. All right, guys. Well, that does it. We got another newscast coming up here. You got to get something to eat.
Yeah.
So do I. But thanks so much, Aleshley. Appreciate it. Thanks for all your help today, and we'll continue to do more live updates and stuff like that. Oh yeah, you don't even know about this,
What
do
is
you?
that? Oh, is there a magic 8-ball that
Do you
have?
know? Yeah, you know how we really forecast. I'm gonna reveal it right here.
Oh, so you have to ask it a question.
Oh, the
then.
secrets are out. There we go. Here's the magic 8-ball.
So ask it a question.
Ask
then
it a
shake
question.
It.
Yep, we'll do that one time.
All right.
What do you want to ask it?
All right, Mr. Magic 8-Ball. Do you think we may see severe weather in the next week or two or
Okay,
so?
okay. I like that. Here we go.
Yes, definitely.
It is really good. I'm telling you. That 8-ball is legit. It's our 5th weather team member. All right, guys. Well, take care. God bless. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. And be prepared. We're beefing up our stream with a lot of extra features, including the tyometer, the severe scoff tyometer. It's coming. We'll ask the snow forecast later. We can't do that. I don't think there's going to be much of anything. But take care, guys. God bless. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.